Hello everyone. There has been a defining moment in my life that changed the way I perceive the world around me. In this poem, I came to a brute realization of where my life ends and where it begins. Here's how the poem goes. It was problematic at best to perceive existence. Through the myopic lens I embedded into myself, my lack of gestures limited the effectiveness of my delivery. And all that God begged from me was deliverance, soft, eloquent passages that provided closure, not answers, just closure. I somehow fashioned together an array of broken glass, and it looked enough like a vase that it would pass. And God would accept it, and have a way to keep roses watered and alive again, but I was broken, prized among the lackluster thieves, immune to pain, and pain by immunity. God beckoned me and He lessoned me, because no other love would accommodate my blindfold so easily. And I was afraid to change, but I was afraid of not changing. I was afraid to change, but I was afraid of not changing. A quick flood of blood infecting my brain, dashboard you, dashboard blank slate. My narrow lens no longer mattered, no longer weighed in, and neither did my fear, my insecurities, or my smile. That moment, 3 seconds of uncertainty, faith circumvented a concrete divider, followed by 6 seconds of nervous prayer, nervous cursing, nervous something. As poisonous as the snake it came from, the oppression presented on my God-forsaken lies limited me even more. As poisonous as the snake it came from. If I survived, I would stop bargaining. I would stop pushing off effort in exchange for more time. I would stop neglecting several spiritual duties or promises that were mine. Whatever seemed likely at that point, but 2 seconds, the longest 2 seconds I've ever experienced, of lying to myself, lying to my friend, and lying to you. The words I promised seemed so trite and so inaccurate. Sirens ended the charade and began the investigation. Seated on the cold end of a wooden table, I shouted, "This is who I was, but not who I am." I assured them mistakes were to be made, but lessons were to be learned. I always thought what life was just a collection of moments intended for lessons, or a collection of lessons looking for moments to fulfill them. So foolish the passenger caught up in this accident. Nothing mattered beyond the fact that I was broken and I was hurting. And I praised to God that I was a survivor, and that's when I heard the fate of the driver. 3 seconds later, closure, not answers, just closure. Lost in the wreckage as the soul ascended, I love you. And every day I wish I could trade places, because God was the first person to love me in any real way, and now I stand 6 feet above where I lay. And if I get one thing in this right, I pray, is that I share with the love, the same love you share with me. You call me down here and I hear your voice, and the sound of my heart breaking, and I pray to my God while I'm still awake. And I taught myself how to forget that sometimes life will try to convince you that there's such thing as regret, but I found it to be a lie. The same lie I found when I looked in your eyes after it was said and done. Scream hallelujah until you come alive. The devil came for our lungs, but he left with our love. Scream hallelujah until you come alive. I inhaled this world for so long that I tore out my lungs.